beautiful people. It is I, your girl, Melissa Nicole, and we are back with another episode of Black by Nature, Fully by Choice. I have the lovely Miss Lula Abera here. But before she introduces herself, okay, she was the one that encouraged me and helped me to start this series, okay? She is a coach by nature. She does, not even just nature, but by trade.
Yes,
okay,
sorry.
She does strategic initiatives. So she worked with me to bring this all to you. So she has just been a blessing. So Lula, tell the people about yourself.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so happy to see this come to fruition. Thank you so much for having me. I am an organizational development consultant and executive coach, and I do a lot of things to help people and organizations create systems and processes so things kind of like run smoothly.
Lula recently transitioned to now working for herself. So what inspired you to become a full-on entrepreneur?
It's been a journey. This has been 5 years in the making. So in 2019, 2018 is like when I started getting the itch of there has to be more. So my background is I worked in the nonprofit sector for, I think at that point for about 12 years or so. And, you know, I was growing my career. And at that time, my goal was like get titles, earn the money, keep climbing up the ladder. But I kept on doing that. But I was sad. I was really, really sad. So I knew I wanted to do something. I wasn't necessarily clear on what that something looked like. So I enrolled in my the certification program called Social Impact Strategy at Penn, where I came across over, I think, like 150 entrepreneurs from all around the world. And I was in a place surrounded by these incredible, brilliant individuals who had like a passion they were chasing. I thought I did until I was in that room. And to see people really like just pursue their passion, I was just like, I have nothing. I paid for this program, but I got nothing. So that program really kind of like lit a fire under me because I was like, I got to figure out, because there's something here. I didn't have the language for it. I didn't have clarity of what that looked like, but there was something there. So I graduated from that program. I still wasn't sure of what is it that I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to work directly with people. So for another year from 2019 to 2020, I was just like, I want to work with women. I don't know what capacity. Also, like my job was just showing me different aspects of it that I thought I could do beyond my job that I wasn't really paid to do. So I went and got my master's degree in organizational development, and that opened my world. I was just like, whoa. I didn't know this was a career, because they work with organizations to help them kind of put systems and structure in place. They help like organizational culture. And then I got into the coaching program. So I was like, people get paid to do this? So I was just like, what? So in a long way of sharing, this has been like an ongoing thing since 2018, but I don't necessarily like say I figure it out until 2022.
Okay. So that's very good. Kudos to you for taking action right away. That really sparked something in you.
Yes.
So what would you say like would be some of your biggest challenges? I know entrepreneurship, you know, has its ups
in
and
general,
downs.
like with entrepreneurship.
Yes. Or even in your specific as a coach.
I think it starts with self, because now that I've been doing this for a year and some change, full time being self employed, I would say you really have to believe in yourself. And it sounds so cliche, but the best thing I did was start. Prior to that, one thing that I didn't do was be consistent, because I thought like I had to be perfect in everything that I did. So when I started just trying things, it kind of taught me things that I didn't want to do, things that I liked. So I was able to build on it or get rid of it. So that was the initial battle that I had, because I didn't have enough believe in myself enough to just kind of like continue. And when you're an entrepreneur, a lot of times you're by yourself. I mean, there are other entrepreneurs. I don't think I have that many entrepreneur friends. The ones there are, we're not in the same field, so we weren't really like also talking. So I would say like I was kind of living my own world, trying to figure things out. So I had to navigate like the self-doubt, the uncertainty, or you put in a lot of work to build something and it might not go through in a way that you want to. So it's like I found myself talking to myself a lot. I'm like, okay, this didn't work, that didn't work. So that probably was like the challenging aspect of this journey.
And then, like when you said to believe in yourself, like how did you do that? Because I feel like that's so cliche. We hear that all the time. Just start and just believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. But what do you think really got you to that point where you're like, I can really do this?
Yeah, you have to show yourself you can do it. So yeah, that's what I say. Like, it's such a cliche thing to say. You have to believe in yourself. In order to believe in yourself, you have to start doing something. When you do that something, then it shows you like where your blind spots are, where your areas that you don't necessarily have knowledge in. So like you're almost kind of creating self-assessment to learn yourself as you're trying to do something. So that's how I was able to kind of build that confidence. Because like, oh, I didn't know I had strength in this area. Also didn't know I was like weak in these areas. So I need to kind of like get my ish together when it comes to this. So that's what helped me kind of build this confidence. And then once I did that, I almost had like a foundation. Then I could do something else. And I wasn't scared to try that thing I didn't even know. Because now I have a strong foundation of like learning myself.
So what would you say being a Black entrepreneur and coach? Because I come to Lula often. Okay? She is the best of the best.
I think, yeah.
So what would you say what would you say what does it mean to be a Black entrepreneur or Black coach to you? Like, what do you, because I know you said you're kind of focused on women. So
yes.
What does that mean to
you?
Thank
you for that question. So my work actually transitioned to me focusing on working with Black women. This past year, I used to say I work with women of color, but like Black people are like have a special place in my heart. You know, I'm an immigrant to this country, so Blackness looks different in different experiences. So being a coach, a Black coach, and also a Black consultant is really tying. My work is really connected to my roots. When I created my coaching and consulting business, I didn't just want to be, because there's so many consultants, there's so many of us, and we all do the same thing. So it's nothing special about the work that I do.
But you are special. Don't
wait,
negate that.
Let me finish. However, I was very intentional in connecting it to my lived experience. Like I have all the accolades of like my degrees, certifications, but my lived experience really like just is what drives me to do the work. So being Black in a lot of workspaces, we go through a lot.
Yes,
and oftentimes in the position that I also held, I was either like the only or one of a few. So I didn't have space to really operate in my Blackness. I almost had to like code switch or have to put on a persona. So I never really felt like I could be my true self in these spaces. So my work really allows me to challenge the people that contract me, also be a voice for like the staff that don't necessarily have the comfort or the language really to speak about what their experiences have been. And that also gave me confidence because I'm not downplaying myself or my experience, or I'm just not going to like code switch anymore. Now I'm professional. I'm not like cursing people out. I am not cursing people out, but it's an ability to really allow people to show up as themselves, and you get so much out of them when you do that. So I feel like that's my calling right now. I say right now because I'm not sure if I want to do this for the rest of my life, but it makes sense for my life right now.
Yes, it does. And then also too to add to that, because we both come from immigrant to descent, so I think that's also something to another barrier that we often face in the workplace. I know for me it was like just being a Black woman, being the only, but then also on top of that, compiling
being an immigrant.
Yeah, it's totally
that's a whole different experience.
Okay. How would you say those experiences have been?
It's a layered pressure of just a culture, because like I can speak for my family. My mom being a refugee to this country, she was also like still is to this day supporting her family back home. So she sacrificed a lot for us to be here. So the passed on pressure from my sister and I is like she's sacrificing to work 2-3 jobs, put us through like private school. She's like investing in us. So that investment really turns into you can't fail.
Yeah.
There's no room for failure here. You have to get it together. And they don't account for the emotional aspect of like navigating 2 different cultures. They don't account for being just a teenager in this country and also trying to find yourself and your voice. So it's like almost walking 2 different paths while you're also trying to figure out like your path. And it's like it's a conflict of interest almost in trying to communicate to your parents, like, but my feelings. And what feelings? I paid for your school.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
That is very, very true. So what else would you say in terms, because I speak a lot to the coaching because I've seen Lula firsthand as a coach. She is very good. She's very in tune with the people. I really feel like that can be a heavy thing that you have to do to take on other people's emotions. So what would you say for someone who's aspiring to be a coach? Like, what advice would you give something?
Work on yourself. Being a coach, um, it's such a privileged space to be in. People are trusting you with their thoughts, their emotion, their strategy. You're almost experiencing them at their most vulnerable space because they're looking for someone to be their thought partner and also collaborate with them to figure out like how to resolve whatever issue they're going through, right? The best thing I did was that 2018 to 2022, I was also going through the transformation of like learning myself. So a lot of times I always say my clients are a mirror into my world, because as a coach I can't ask these powerful questions or like make recommendations, and I'm not doing that in my life. So it's such a privileged title to have. I feel like I'm obligated to also learn who I am and my blind spots, because it's easy to be biased as you're coaching people. It's easy to be judgmental. It's easy to kind of like try to redirect them in a way that you think they should live their life. So my job is to always come in with clear mind and allow them to really like just talk through the experiences as they're going through. So it's challenging every day, and it could be heavy because the topics that we talk about is also like some stuff that resonates in my personal life. So oftentimes at the end of the call, I'm like, whoop, maybe I need to work on these things in my life too. Especially if I witness that I'm helping them figure that out in their life. I'm like, how can you do that for them, but not yourself? So, and coaching looks different. I have like maybe small amount of like private clients that we do like life coaching. I don't do a lot of life coaching because that's a lot. I do a lot more strategy. I work with like executives and middle management, and that's a different level of coaching. So it allows me to be teachable. Like they hire me because I'm an expert in the space, but you have to be teachable.
And that's very good to have too, because I feel like sometimes, it's just like when they say you go to therapy, but your therapist should also have a therapist. Like,
for sure.
Like you should,
it's like a cycle. We're all feeding each other.
Exactly. So as a coach, being in this space, I want to know, how do you take care of yourself and your mental health, especially since I know the load can be very heavy. Very heavy.
Yeah.
With all the different businesses and corporations that you work with.
I haven't always gotten it right. Again, I've only been self-employed for a year and some change now. Last year was really, really tough because running your own business comes with its own level of like anxiety. Because like you only get paid as much as you work. So that was like a different hustle mentality that I also gained. But and then also being a first-time entrepreneur, I was saying yes to everything because I was like, if I say no, they're never going to think of me or call me back. So I kind of hit the wall. So what I learned was, I think we talked a little bit about it too. You joined me on a couple of walks. I need to leave my house because I work from home, and I'm very much a homebody. But nature, being able to just kind of get fresh air, so I walk a lot. I also have a therapist, and I have a coach as well. So just space where I get to just be myself, because oftentimes people come to me to gain as much like knowledge, or I'm listening and taking in a lot, and I don't really have like a space to talk things through about my own self, because by the end of the day what I found myself doing was like I would shut my computer, my phone, and then just like rot in my bed, and I was like, this is not sustainable. And then do it again the next day, and then again. So I walk a lot, therapy every 3 weeks. I haven't started journaling yet, but I think like writing the book is going to be like essentially another therapy session. So those are the things that I'm doing. And the other thing that I'm challenging myself to do is reconnect with friends. That's something I realized like I completely have put to the side, because like I got to build this business, but you need your community. So being able to just laugh, talk about silly things that's not work related, it's like healthy for you. So those are the things like I'm kind of like valuing right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm here for all of it. I know you have some new things coming up. Do you want to tell the people about what you have coming up?
I need to get started. I'm working on a couple of projects to just figure out what how I can create a community, especially like in the climate that we're living in right now for Black women more. So I want to create a space where, the program is going to be for Black women executives, a coaching program to help them navigate their Blackness, but also their role within a workplace. So that's something I'm working on, and then my goal is to launch it by the end of April. Hold me accountable. And then I'm just want to write a book. about the Black women's experience. Yes. So I'm just start compiling a list of all the Black women I want to reach out to. So I want to start the interview process. If you can't follow the theme of Black women, I just want like our stories to be told in a way that it's deserved to, versus like how we are painted in one paintbrush of like we all are the same. And I want to capture every aspect of like what Blackness looks like.
And where can the people find you?
Oh, you can follow me on Instagram. It's LulaAbera_. I'm trying to grow my YouTube conversations like this. So honestly, everything is Lula Abera _. My TikTok, I'm not active as much. So, but Instagram is the most you'll get out of me.
Okay. Well, thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Black by Nature, Philly by Choice.
Yay! It happened! You did it!